O is for open-mindedness. There are some definite benefits to keeping an open mind as a teacher. We're going to talk about those in just a moment. Be sure and give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and don't forget to click subscribe and the bell next to subscribe so that you'll know every time we post a new video. In this video, there are 7 benefits to keeping an open mind as a teacher. The last benefit has the biggest impact on your teaching and on my teaching as a whole. But they are so intertwined with each other, these 7 benefits, you need to hear them all so that you can truly reap the rewards of that final benefit. Hey, do you want to improve your classroom management skills? Do you want to increase student engagement? How about amplifying student success? You've come to the right place. Welcome to Things That Work. Open-mindedness. We're on O today, and we are continuing our journey through the alphabet. So keeping an open mind is crucial in teaching. I use that word way too much. Keeping an open mind is so beneficial, and I'm going to share 7 benefits with you of having an open mind as a teacher. Here we go. Number 1, the number 1 benefit is this: letting go of control. I'm going to wait a minute because you may not see that as a benefit. You may be like I am and like to be in control of everything in your classroom, and letting go of control can be very frightening. However, there is a freeing aspect of letting go of control that allows you to open up and become a better teacher. I had to learn this over the last 8 years of teaching, and let me tell you, now that I'm really kind of letting go of those things I can't control, my teaching has become much more effective, and I hope you discover the same. The other thing that happens, you become open to new ideas that might make your classroom even better than it already is. With that open mind that you don't have control of everything, you also feel less pressure than you do when you think you have to be in control of everything. Let's face it, there are some things you cannot control in a classroom, and you have to accept that. And once you accept that, you become open to those new ideas, and you experience less pressure to be in control of those things you just simply will never have control of. Unless you meet benefit number 1, benefit number 2 isn't going to help you at all. It's going to be very difficult to achieve it. So that's what I mean when I say all these benefits are tied together in such a way that you must practice them all, because they all intertwine, interconnect. Benefit number 2, and this one is to experience change. I personally do not like change. Change causes me anxiety. Change causes me stress. However, with practicing that first part of open-mindedness and letting go of control, you are free to experience change, because let's face it, in education, things are in a state of constant change. Things are in a state of change that you just will never have control of, just like we talked about in the first point. Those things that change, that we know are going to change every year, are students, for instance. Your classes are going to have different students every year, hopefully. We take that for granted, but that is change. When we accept change, we need to find ways to deal with change, and those ways are what cause us to adapt. Those ways are what lead us to success, and we learn those from looking at other people, checking out other resources, reading books, listening to those things that are trending in education. That is how we begin to adapt to the changes that we face every day and that we must accept. We also begin to see new opportunities for growth in ourselves, opportunities for growth in our students, and that is just as important as anything else, is making sure that we are continually growing. We are lifelong learners. We are the example we set for our students of being that lifelong learner. And number 3, as you accept change, as you let go of control, you become more vulnerable. It is yet another benefit. Now, again, these benefits initially sound like, whoa, I don't need that. I don't want to be vulnerable in front of my students. But yes, you do. And yes, I do. I want to be vulnerable because students need to know what being vulnerable actually means. It doesn't mean you're open to be injured. It doesn't mean you're letting yourself just be exposed for torment and destruction. That's not what I'm talking about. Being vulnerable is scary, but at the same time, it is an awesome thing. Of course, we know why it's scary, because of what I just described a moment ago. When you admit that you don't know everything, You become vulnerable to having to deal with not knowing everything. And the fact is, as teachers, we don't know everything. That's why we are, as I said a moment ago, lifelong learners. We're lifelong learners because we don't know everything. And being a lifelong learner makes you vulnerable to those things. It also makes you very open to this very next benefit, and that's the freedom to make mistakes. Acknowledge your mistakes. When you make a mistake, acknowledge it. Even if it's as simple as mispronouncing a student's name, apologize for it, get the pronunciation right, and then move forward. Always acknowledge mistakes that you make, because when you make those mistakes and you move forward, students are learning from you lessons more important than you will ever teach them in your curriculum. The fifth benefit, which really isn't that evident until you practice all of the other four, and that is to strengthen yourself. Work on yourself physically, work on yourself mentally, work on yourself emotionally. Make yourself a stronger teacher. Build yourself up. Make yourself better at the things you do well. Make yourself better at the things that you struggle with. Make yourself stronger. Strengthen yourself. And number 6 will come naturally. Number 6 is to gain confidence. And you do that by practicing the previous step, by practicing all of these steps prior to this. And all of that will help you gain confidence, not just as a teacher, but as a human being and as a person. True story. Had a student come up to me in my second year of teaching and actually look at me and say, "Mr. George, why are you so self-conscious about your teaching?" And I blew it away. I thought nothing about this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They wouldn't let me. They held my feet to the fire and asked again and again. Finally, I answered them. And it was because it was my second year and I was surrounded by teachers who were amazing at what they did. And I felt like I was just throwing knowledge at the students and hoping it would stick. Well, guess what? I started strengthening my abilities in education. I'm no pro, I'm no pedagogical guru at this point in my life, but I am very strong in what I do, and I'm very confident in what I do. And I also, when I have questions, I ask. And that's really probably the most important part of self-improvement, is to ask questions when you don't understand something or when you think you have a great idea. Ask someone who you think really has the pedagogical background to help you understand what you need to know. And finally, number 7, just like I promised, the most important one. And yet, without all the other 6, you're not going to be able to reap as many benefits from number 7. And number 7 is being honest. You get the benefit of being honest with your students, with your faculty, with your administrators, with the parents. Because when you're practicing all of these things on a daily and lifelong basis, I have found that being honest just happens. It's not even something you have to think about, yet it is the strongest thing on this list. Hope these things help you. Hope you can put them into practice. Remember, being open-minded comes very easy for some people, and for other people like myself, it is a struggle, and it may be a lifelong struggle. But keep these 7 things at the core of your struggle, and I guarantee you, you will see progress. I enjoy learning with you. I enjoy teaching with you, and together we can take over the world.